not being dialed in, but when you don't have all of the bits already queued up, you're going to be late. So apologies to those who have been waiting. All right, today we're going to dig in because it is summertime and people are saying, hey, I've got kiddos, and you get that response every time, right? Especially on those rainy days or when it's too hot to go outside. And what can you do? And you've got a kiddo who says, I'm bored. Ooh, right? That's a problem as a parent. What do? You hopefully have board games and things like that, but you've got to be involved, and you can't always play with your child because you might be working from home or doing whatever other things you have to do. So you have to teach them how to be able to do some of their things on their own too. So let's get into it. Let's get into the 7 steps, right? This is what we do on Help Talk. 7 things that you can do, 7 responses if your child says, I'm bored. All right, let's dig in. So welcome here. We got some folks showing up in the audience. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry I had a bit of a late start today. All right, let's get into it. So when you get that, dreaded, I'm bored, right? And your kiddo just doesn't know what to do. The whole thing is, I think the number one thing, oh my goodness, is just try to avoid immediately turning on screens, right? Giving them more screen time. Every kiddo pretty much that I know out there and on the planet has enough screen time. They don't need more screen time. But what the problem is that you think, oh, this is a short-term solution. I'll give them a little extra hour of screen time. Well, it's really not solving for the problem of trying to find ways to be more creative, right? That's what boredom does. You've got to, the mother of necessity, you've got to figure something out. You've got to indulge those self-reliance skills and problem-solving skills. You've got to build them, and you give them some guidance so that they can learn to overcome boredom on their own. And if you just keep giving them more screen time, they're not really going to learn. So I would say that's really the number one thing as far as a response when your kid says, I'm bored. Don't give them more screen time. Use it as that opportunity so that they can really work through the longer term, right, of figuring out how to be creative and how to solve their problems and do some new things without having that huge dependency, right, and reliance on you. All right. Number 2, here's another 2 tip. If your kid says, I'm bored, validate their feelings. We hear this everywhere from therapists, from teachers, from business professionals, from everybody. You don't always have to try to fix it, right? And say, I understand you're bored, and let them take the lead. What would you like to do about it? What ideas do you have? How do you think you can overcome your boredom? Teach them to take that initiative and that leadership so that they can try to find their own entertainment. And you're thinking, oh, for God, forget about it. No, Laurel, and you've lost me. You've lost me. All right. Here's tip number 3 then. Fine. Have a boredom jar. We have one of these. Actually, if I had it handy now, I'd go run and get it. Maybe I should do that. But you have a jar and you put different slips of paper and things into it that are activities that you've worked to create this magic list. And then they can go into the jar to be able to say, oh, okay, these are the things I can do. In fact, I am going to run and get said jar. Hang on. It's going to be a minute. It's like right there. If you can see through my house, like just 1 second, I'm going to show you. And you can make it fun and really entertaining. Hang on. Okay, I promised you it was going to be good. All right, so we have this, and you can take a variation of it. So I'm very lucky, a really wonderful friend of mine, Alicia, she's enormously talented. She painted this, and we've called it the happiness jar. So if anybody has something that they've experienced that was a real bright spot in their day, we write that in. We've got all these beautiful colored notes and things in here that are all written and done and put in. And we put that into the happiness jar. So when someone is sad, I mean, it's quite not the same as being bored, but same concept. They can reach in and go, oh, I remember that thing that made me happy. Great. Or that made someone else happy. So have a jar like that, but make it a boredom jar. So, and decorate it together, make that a crafty thing that you do. Let your kid decorate it any way they want. Throw a bunch of glitter on there, throw whatever, right? Colors of paint, whatever they want. Have fun making the boredom jar, and then have even more fun creating all different kinds of fun and fancy little notes that are in there where you can wrap them, color them, put pretty strings on, do things, cut out different shapes, all kinds of things. Then they can go in and say, oh yeah, let's pull one of these out today in the boredom jar. That's a really good way to do it. All right. Then here is tip number 4. Oh my goodness, I know. Revelation, right? Encourage them to go play outside. A lot of us, when we were young, we went and we grabbed our bikes and we were gone all day. We played hide and seek. We ran around. We were active and we were engaged. Of course, we didn't have screen time and all of those kind of amazing games and stuff that's out there now. But it's great to get outside. You've got a yard and a dog, and listen, go play with the dog in the yard. Go run around. Go, if it's a safe neighborhood, go play, on the block, run around, or go to the playground together and sit there and engage with the monkey bars and things like that. Build those muscles up as a kid, right? Do this kind of stuff. That's a really, really good way to be able to encourage your kids to find things to do, be active, and not be so bored. All right. Tip number 5. Do this with kids, and we do it with pets. We do it with our dogs. So there are things like certain toys, and you rotate them out. So you've got, maybe it's the summer toys or this collection, and then you hide them and you replace them with the next batch. So even though they're not all new toys, they're just, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about these. I haven't used them in a while or done these things in a while. It's nice to bring them back in. It's especially, there's been some evolution since the last time your kids played with that set of toys or things or games that they did, and it's kind of back. It brings back some nostalgia, which is really good for building endorphins and levels of happiness, but it's also good because they may have evolved and have different ways of doing it and might enjoy it more. Especially if there's some of the more challenging strategic games, maybe they've mentally developed a little bit more and they're better able to play and enjoy it more. All right. Tip 6, ask them to do a chore, right? You're thinking, oh my God, my kid would not do anything unless I paid them up the wazoo, promised them Uber Eats for a week, took them out to this, that, right? Whatever, all these things. It doesn't have to be. Give them a chore like washing your car. They feel accomplished doing grown-up tasks, believe it or not. And even if you get a car that's not exactly clean, it's probably going to be cleaner than it was before they did it. And it also teaches them responsibility and the things that, yes, they're going to have to do when they enter that age of adulting, and they have to do it themselves, right? So that's something to think about. All right, last tip, tip number 7 here. And again, thank you everybody on the audience. Nice to see you chit-chatting there. Hello, hello. Introduce them to things that create mindfulness. There's an app called Go Noodle, which they have fun educational videos, and they help release energy. So you can just get that out, get some movement, move kids around, get them thinking, get them writing, get them working. And so that they're activating different parts of their brains, and physically they're also being a little bit active at the same time. So those are the 7 things, and I'm going to cap them off again in case for those folks that I see here that may not have been on the beginning of it. So 7 things you can do when your kiddo says to you, I'm bored. All right. Number 1, avoid immediately turning on screens. Encourage them to put their problem-solving skills together and use boredom as that tool to develop their creativity, self-reliance, right, and independence. All right. That's number 1. Number 2, validate their feelings. Yes, honey, I know you're bored. Don't try to fix it. What would you like to do? Teach them to take the initiative. Number 3, pick an activity from your boredom jar. Fill it with all kinds of wonderful things to do and let them pick one. Number 4, encourage them to play outside. Yes, get outside. Short of weather disasters and extreme conditions, you want to keep your kiddo and your pet safe if you're suggesting they go outside and play together. So, right, be smart about that, but that's a good thing. And then if you have the opportunity to take batches of toys or board games and swap them out. So there's a collection one and collection two, and then you can rotate the collections so that what's old is new again. That might be kind of good. Give them a suggestion of a chore, something like washing your car, doing something like that that's going to keep them, out of harm's way, but get them involved so they can practice. Well, these are the kinds of things you have to do when you're adulting. Maybe cutting the grass is too big, too involved, too scary, lots of moving parts, potential for danger there. But a hose and some soap and water and a vacuum cleaner, not so bad, right? And then have them, again, think about mindful and movement. There's videos that you can get inspired by, different sites out there where you can take them and have them do things. Practice movement to music. Have them practice just sitting and being silent. How long can they be silent and be with their thoughts for? Make it a contest, make it fun. Anyway, those are the 7 responses that we suggest that you have when your kiddo says, I'm bored. And we welcome participation from future folks here. Come on, we'd love to have you on our show. You can see Phil was absent today. He had some stuff going on at home, so we had to let him get to that. And any ideas, any suggestions, hey, contact us at Helpopedia. We'd love to see you. All right. Thanks, everyone. Until next week, stay out of harm's way. Have a great week.